because he needed a different environment. What was unfortunate in Newburyport was that it was very adversarial, and we were told not to talk, not to communicate with the charter school. Now, 9 years later from their opening, they have a 300 waiting list at their charter school, and they're now finally collaborating on things together and learning from each other. It's unfortunate it took 9 years. And we certainly hope that if this charter goes through, that it becomes an exchange of learning between the district and the charter school. So now Karen's going to tell us a little bit more.
Hi, my name is Karen Acupel. I am a parent of 2 children at West Parish School in Gloucester. I just want to talk to you pretty much about the community piece. I wanted to just explain our timeline. As many of you know, our prospectus was accepted by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and we've been invited to submit a full application, which is rather an honor. We are one of 3 schools out of 7 that were invited to do so. Our application is due on November 14th. So right now, we are in the process of developing our board. We're also forming committees, which are working on specific areas of focus. The committees are facilities, finance, design, governance, fundraising, and community relations, PR. And I would just really like to invite all of you, anybody that would be interested, if there's a specific committee that you have expertise in or that you are interested in, to please sign up. We have sheets on the table here. We also are collecting signatures of support, to please just sign up. The amount of community support that we have received so far has been very encouraging. It's very heartening and very exciting. So we have these petitions just to collect signatures saying that you support the establishment of the charter school in Gloucester as an alternative form of public education. So at the very minimum, please, if you could sign one tonight, better yet, if you could take one with you or take several and sign them out and pass them on to your friends, neighbors, family, co-workers, and share it with others to get signatures, because we want to be sure to reach out to everyone in Gloucester and not just have this be a school that only certain people know about, that certain kids there. We want to be able to reach out and have it be a school for everybody in Gloucester. So I just want to thank you all for your support so far and for coming tonight. Thanks. And Peter, I think we're going to do questions now.
Thanks, Karen. Oh, yes. Also, we do have a website. It's gcacharterschool.org. There's a little bit on there now. There will be more by the end of the week. The mission and vision will be there. There will be some more information that we don't have here tonight, and there will be a sign-up form for anybody that would like to get involved. So this is the fun part. Right? We're open for questions, and I'd like to take some. Yes?
I just have a question. You said that the entrance to this charter school would be by lottery. Now, what happens when you have a family of children and they all want to?
That's a great question. The question is, what happens for siblings? I believe the law provides for us to allow preference for siblings. Is that right? Anybody? And if I say something wrong, one of you guys is going to correct me, please. Thank you very much. So, you know, if the charter school fills, then there's a lottery, but siblings get preference. So younger siblings would get preference over the lottery, as I understand it. And then once they get in, the lottery kicks in again. But we're not allowed, if I understand it, to increase the maximum number of students that we take without modifying our charter, which we could do, but that's a big deal. Anybody else? Yes?
Hi, how long does that cushion that you mentioned last? And what happens after it runs out?
Well, the cushion is designed for 3 years. So in the first year, the district is sort of reimbursed 100% of the cost of the charter school. And, you know, once again, this isn't money being taken away. This is money being shifted. It's moved a little bit. It's moved from the district's budget to the charter's budget. It's still paying for public education in Gloucester in a public school. In the second year, 60% is reimbursed, and in the third year, 40% is reimbursed. That gives us 4 years. So in the fourth year, assuming we're at capacity, the district will have 240 fewer students and about $2 million less, which is a little bit less per student than they actually spend to educate each student. Now, the other thing is that 4 years from now, or actually, by the way, we're not opening until 2010, 2011 school year. So 4 years from then, it is extremely likely that there will be at least 240 more kids than we have today, just by virtue of the building boom that's going on here. I mean, even in this economy, they're not, I don't know if you noticed, they're not stopping the building. So, once again, the money does shift, and it shifts in the fourth year. I hope that answers the question. Yeah? Yes, again.
Sorry, so how much per pupil will it cost to educate at your school?
You know, it's impossible to calculate exactly. There is this theoretical construct called the foundation rate. It's calculated every year, and by 2010, it'll be calculated anew, and then every year anew after that. It's a complex formula. We will have information about that on our website. There's also information about that on the DOE website, which, even though they're known as the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, it's still DOE dot something or other dot, you know what it is, right? You can just Google it. So you can sort of estimate it. But in general, and maybe Kate could answer this better. Would you like to answer this?
Sure. So the per pupil amount that we're expecting, about between $8,000 and $9,000. And Gloucester currently spends around almost $11, $4 shy of $11,000. $8,000 and $9,000.
Yeah.
But it's based on each child. So if you have a child that's in kindergarten, it's a different rate than a child that's in 8th grade. If a child is low income, it's a different rate. If they have learning disabilities, it's a different rate. So it's the money that's associated with that child will go with that child, just like it is for the district.
Right. Also, the other thing is, before the calculation of the per pupil amount is calculated, the money that the district spends on out-of-district special education and the teacher retirement, which I don't remember the name of, that's subtracted from the total amount spent before they calculate the amount per child. So that's one of the reasons why the charter school actually gets a little bit less per child than is actually spent by the district, but it's still fair, even though we're getting a little bit less. Anybody else? Yes?
Follow-up to her question, are there other categories of preferential admission besides siblings?
I don't think there are any other categories of preferential admission. It's lottery, but siblings have preference.
And it's not people of the founding board either. They do not have any kind of preference.
Yeah, unless somebody can figure out how to fix the lottery, you know, I don't know if you can do that. Yes?
I'm interested in your effort or your vision around how the charter school and the district as it is with the school committee, the current teachers and staff. How do you, if you could sort of, maybe you and Amy or you and Amy and Karen could talk a little bit about how you envision the partnership with the district and how you envision this kind of, I mean, you allude to a kind of cross-fertilization, both from the resources from the district, the professional resources, I should say, from the district, into the charter, and from the different approaches you're taking in terms of curriculum and teaching strategies and subject matter from the charter to the district. So I think you raise an interesting prospect and a different kind of opportunity for this kind of cross-fertilization and sharing of really what we as a community hold to be very dear, which is how do we, you know, educate our children, bring them up into a very increasingly complicated world in which we're really asking an enormous amount of them when they become adults. So I'm very interested in sort of you fleshing
Right.
out, kind of like in the way you did for the school curriculum, what that partnership in your best case scenario might look like.
Yeah, I can try to answer that a little bit, and maybe some possible scenarios.